This informed and insightful lecture reflects a sense of Indian national movement, our freedom struggle that led the whole wave of anti-colonial struggle, annihilated colonial curse, colonial shackles, and realized trust with destiny, nation's self-determination, nation's dignity, individuals' emancipation. India, plundered for centuries under an era of dark age, colonial exploitation. Even after facing horrors of partition, result of colonialism sponsored and communal forces nurtured communalism. Its worst form, dehumanizing communal rights. India transformed into world's largest, vibrant, inclusive democracy, world's fifth largest economy, aspired to become third by 2030. Her emergence as a bright spot for global economic recovery in the backdrop of pandemic shattered global economic order. In this context, Sri Lanka, endowed with unbounded potential, plunged into civil war, now under the wreckage of chaos and economic meltdown. What causes or forces that transformed India into an integrated, inclusive nation or post Sri Lanka in the constant civil war or ethnic conflicts? India, Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. Geographical proximity, as India situated on the zenith of Indian Ocean and Sri Lanka, pearl of Indian Ocean. Monsoon in this climate and its commonness for both nations. Shared cultural heritage from spiritual affinity of Buddhism to anti-colonial struggle for their self-determination, liberation from colonial exploitation. Civilizational linkage, deep-rooted historical relations reflects India and Sri Lanka's interdependency among community of nations in general and in South Asian region in particular. Exemplary Indian freedom struggle for nation self-determination, liberation from colonial curse of exploitation, discrimination, oppression, division on communal lines. India preserved, protected, propagated, cherished ideals of Indian national movement. In other words, budding ideas of our cultural heritage, civilizational ethos, and now in constitutional morality in full bloom during Indian national movement in making a nation cornerstone or constitution, conscience of modern India, spirit, soul of a nation's founding moment. Liberty, equality, justice, fraternity, individual's dignity, nation's unity and integrity, social orders, ethics, and morality underpins essence of our constitution. Our constitution that transformed India as a nation in spite of diverse kinds of diversities beyond imagination for entire world, even for colonial rulers that plundered her for centuries. Our founding guardians emphasizes justice, social, economic, and political equality before law, equal protection of law, equal opportunity, liberty, and its substantial expression in our constitution, our constitutional heritage, our constitutional pride, our cultural asset, template, even for globalized world order, secularism, religious, cultural, lingual. Religious secularism reflects in our Constitution's Part 3 from Articles 25 to 28. Cultural secularism resonates in Article 29 and 30, whereas Schedule 8, where our nation accorded 22 languages a status of official language based on equality or equal reverence for these languages and their distinct cultures encapsulated in it. Welfare state, democratized democracy inclusively and instill the trust, emotion that sovereignty lies in Indians without any discrimination. Indians, we first and last. This is bedrock on that buttress the entire edifice of democratic nation. Now question arises. India emerged as a integrated nation in spite of diverse kinds of diversities, even deprivation, discrimination, stratified social order, inequality, whereas Sri Lanka, island state, has been being faced trust deficit, ethnic conflict, civil war, and now economic meltdown that shattered its aspirations and prestige as a sovereign country. In this context, we can contextualize the background of American Civil War. American Civil War after American War of Independence or American Revolution. Its background. American Civil War's background. Concerns around divided house cannot be sustained as conflict or struggle on the issue of slavery. And after the end of Civil War, visionary, perseverant struggles epitome Abraham Lincoln's generous policy or vision, malice to none, charity to all. Nelson Mandela's creative reconciliation policy after ending or eliminating apartheid in South Africa. The example of India's integration with democratic spirit in persuasive way after India's freedom, world's founding moment. These examples can inspire ethical and inclusive policy making that integrated it here it for Sri Lanka as a nation, because with the nation state is like an artificial post structure, like nation deprived from a territory, land, or state. is a phantom ghost, as a nation is the soul of body. Now question arises, what is nation? In short, psyche of oneness, feeling of fraternity, emotion of integration, imagination of shared identity. चलिए वहां चलिए. Without social solidarity, cohesion, interdependent, inclusive and participative polity, social order, mutual trust, economic prosperity and wealth creation is nothing but mirage in desert. For example, Pearl of Indian Ocean, endowed with unbounded potentials like Singapore and Japan, most advanced in socio-economic standards, living standards, in the context of South Asian region, even ahead of India, but conflict, lack of trust, due to majoritarian chauvinism, imposition of their whims and dictates, and discrimination, deprivation with ethnic Tamils, alienated them. And in the backdrop of vulnerabilities by exploitation, discrimination, deprivation, fear of statelessness, trust deficit, breaks the ground for extremism, terrorism. For an example, emergence of Lite, world's largest terrorist organization that plunged Sri Lanka into decades of civil war. During war, armed forces atrocities shattered just a minority or ethnic population, shattered it internally, ashamed extremely, externally. Social chaos, political instability, polarization on communal lines, economic uncertainty, need of powerful state who protect it, patronize it at international diplomatic fronts. In this scenario, emergence of China as a patronage of Sri Lanka, and in return of diplomatic patronage that extended a powerful state, Sri Lanka opened doors or created opportunities for investment in economically unviable but strategically important for expansionist forces. Like Hamban taught about, its economic unviability compelled Lanka to lease it to China, and submarine protocols here threat for Indian Ocean's stability, concerns for India's security. Investment in economic unviable sectors and predatory economic tactics entangled Sri Lanka into debt trap, along with communal polarized politics at domestic level, promotes authoritarian decisions, privilege for dominant community that weaken states' economic choices, decisions, Authoritarian decisions like abrupt adoption of organic agriculture, low rate of, in other words, uninformed decision making, hit and trial. India, in this situation, according its policy of Panchsheel, five principles of international foreign policy, and neighborhood first policy, even from its freedom struggle, stand by oppressed nations against colonial struggle.